Hello everyone, welcome to Electrical Paathshala 2. Guys, from this video we are starting our new series Info Trivia. In this series we will talk about some of the very interesting topics which often crosses our mind. In the first episode of Info Trivia we will talk about electric shock and the factors on which electric shock intensity depends on. So guys, let's start. So first of all, what is electric shock? So guys, when electric current passes through a person's body or some animal's body, then we say that the person or that animal is being subjected to electric shock. Now guys, what happens when electric current passes through our body? So when electric current passes through human body, it can damage the body in following ways. First of all, it causes the muscle to contract. What does this mean? It means that our muscles allows us to move our body freely. So when electric current passes through our body, what it does that it causes the muscles to contract, which is known as muscular contraction. It means that you will lose control of your muscle when electric current passes through your body. So that is the first thing it does to our body. Second is that it subjects the body to intense heat, which results in burning of skin. So guys, when electric current passes through our body, due to our body resistance, heat is generated, and due to that heat it results in burning of the skin. The next and major thing is that it harms or interfere with proper functioning of the nervous system and heart. So guys, if electric current passes through your heart, it will interfere with the proper functioning of your heart, and that may cause very serious problem. That may also cause heart attack, which will result in your death. So these are the problems that electric current causes when it passes through a person's body. Now guys, electric shock intensity may be low or medium or very severe. So the electric shock intensity depends on various factors, some of which are listed here. So the intensity of electric shock depends on following factors. First, the magnitude of the current which is passing through your body. Second, the time duration for which human body is subjected to the electric shock. Next is the path of the current in human body. Yes guys, the electric shock intensity also depends on the path of the current through which the electricity is passing through your body. Now the next factor is body resistance, and when we will talk about body resistance, then the condition of the skin is very important. Whether the skin is dry or wet, the electric shock intensity depends on that also. Now the next factor is mass of the body. In this section we'll talk about Dalziel's equation. Next is gender of the person. Yes guys, electric shock intensity also depends on the gender of the person. Whether the person who is being subjected to electric shock is a male or female, it depends on that as well. And finally, the type of the supply or type of the current or voltage, whether the current or voltage is AC or DC. So these are some of the factors on which electric shock intensity depends on. We will talk about all these factors one by one. So let's start guys. So our first factor is magnitude of current. So guys, always remember that it's the current that kills. It's the amount of current that does the damage. The real measure of electric shock intensity is the amount of current which is passing through your body and not the voltage. Why guys? Let's see. So suppose I'm being subjected to electric shock and the electric current is passing through my body. The electric current is entering into my body from my fingertip and getting out of my body from my elbow. So guys, when electric current is getting into my body from my fingertip, then it has to face the skin resistance at my fingertip. Now after penetrating through my skin, it will travel inside my body. Then it has to face the internal body resistance, and finally when it will get out of my body, then it has to face the skin resistance at my elbow or at that part from where it is getting out. So in this way guys, when electric current passes through your body or passes through a particular portion of your body, then it has to face three kind of resistance. First resistance is RSI, the skin resistance from where the current is getting into your body. Second is the internal body resistance, and the third is the skin resistance from where the electric current is getting out of your body. So these three currents sums up and it gives us the total body resistance or total resistance of that part of your body from where the electric current is passes. Let's suppose that resistance is capital R. So guys, the current I, the amount of current I which is passing through your body can be given by Ohm's law, which is I is equals to V by R. Now guys, this R here is the total body resistance, or the resistance of that part through which the electricity is passing. So guys, this R varies so widely from person to person. Therefore, it is very difficult to comment how much voltage is dangerous for us. So guys, here voltage is not the real danger of electric shock. That's why all the time we talk about the magnitude of the current. I hope you understand, guys. Now guys, you must be wondering that how much current is really dangerous for us, how much current can cause serious problems to us. Not much, guys. Let's see that. So guys, current as low as 1 milliampere is called as the threshold of sensation. It means that if 1 milliampere current, or this level of current, low amount of current passes through your body, then you will feel only tingling sensation. Now the next level is 10 milliampere. So guys, current above 10 milliampere may cause very painful shock to you, but still it is not life threatening. So guys, this current above 10 milliampere may cause painful shock and muscular contraction so severe that you won't be able to let go of the current carrying conductor. It means that if current above 10 milliampere passes through your body, you might lose your muscle control. And when at current levels up to 20 milliamperes or above 20 milliampere, breathing difficulty starts, guys. So current rating between 20 to 100 milliamperes, what happens in this range, that the muscles that allows us to breathe become paralyzed, and due to which breathing difficulty starts in the range of 20 to 100 milliamperes. And guys, current above 100 milliamperes are always almost lethal, because the current above 100 milliampere, when it passes through our heart, it causes ventricular fibrillation. Now guys, what is ventricular fibrillation? So this is a very serious heart condition in which your heart starts quivering instead of beating rhythmically. It means that your heart starts quivering in an uncoordinated way. It goes out of rhythm, which is known as ventricular fibrillation. And guys, in this situation, the person requires immediate medical condition, or if he is not getting that medical help immediately, then this might also cause death of that person. So current above 100 milliampere are almost always fatal. So guys, these are the current level at which these effects occurs in our body, in a human body. Now guys, the next factor on which electric shock intensity depends on is the time duration. So guys, apart from the magnitude of the current, the time duration for which that current is passing through your body is also very important. For example, a very small current, if it is passing through your body for enough time, then that small current can also cause serious damage. For example, say 1 milliampere is passing for large enough duration through your body, then it can also cause painful shocks to you. So guys, here, because why this happens, because every second the current continues to pass through human body, more heat is generated because of the body resistance, and the damage to the body increases as the time passes. Also guys, the second thing is that the body resistance goes down rapidly with continued contact and burning of the skin as the time passes. Because if I am in continued contact with the current carrying conductor, then what will happen, that the heat will generate and the damage to my body will increase. And also guys, what happens, that the skin resistance or body resistance goes down rapidly. It decreases rapidly with the continued contact because of sweating and burning away of the skin. Therefore, it is very important to detach a person who is being subjected to electric shock from the current carrying conductor as soon as possible to minimize the effect of the electric shock. Now guys, the next factor is the path of the current through human body. So guys, electric shock intensity also depends on the path of the current through which it is flowing in a human body. So to understand this, we took two examples. In the first example, this person is being subjected to electric shock, and electric current is passing from the finger of this person to the elbow, and it is getting out of the elbow. So guys, this situation is not very dangerous, because this situation may cause very painful shock to this person, but it is not life threatening. Okay, so this situation is less dangerous. Now on the other hand, the electricity this person is also being subjected to electric shock of the same amount of current. But in this case, what is happening, that electricity is passing from the right hand to the left hand through the heart of this person. And guys, what happens when electricity passes through your heart? Then it may cause ventricular fibrillation. And as I've told you earlier, that this is a very dangerous situation. This might trigger heart attack, and that may result in the death of that person. So this situation is very, very dangerous. So guys, hence we saw that the path of the current through our body is very important factor on which electric shock intensity depends. So the next factor, guys, is the body resistance. Yes guys, electric shock intensity also depends on the resistance of a person's body. Now guys, body resistance can be divided into two parts. One is skin resistance and the second is internal body resistance. So the one part is this skin, my skin resistance, and the second part is the resistance of my internal body. So these two parts. Now guys, this skin resistance depends very much on the condition of the skin, whether your skin is wet or your skin is dry. The skin resistance depend on that largely. The resistance of the wet skin is as low as 1000 ohms only. On the other hand, the dry skin may offer as high as 200 kilo ohms to 500 kilo ohms resistance to the passage of the electricity. So here you can see the difference. Now guys, why skin resistance is that high? Because the outermost layer of the skin epidermis is made of a protein called keratin, and this keratin protein offers very high resistance to the passage of the electricity. On the other hand, we have internal body resistance, which may be divided into two parts, between the ears and from hand to foot, which also includes our torso, guys. So between the ears, the internal body resistance is only 100 ohms. While from hand to foot, which also includes our torso, the internal body resistance is in range of 400 to 600 ohms. Why guys, internal body resistance is this low? Why? Because inside the epidermis layer, inside our skin layer, we have sweat glands and blood vessels which constitute of various ions, and these ions are very good conductor of electricity. That's why the internal body resistance is very low as compared to the skin resistance. That's why guys, once the skin is broken through, our internal body only offers as much as 600 ohm resistance to the passage of the electricity. Also guys, as the time passes, the body resistance or the skin resistance goes down rapidly due to the sweating or burning away of the skin. So this was about the body resistance. So the next factor on which electric shock intensity depends on is the mass of the body. Guys, the electric shock intensity also depends on the mass of the body, and this can be easily explained by using the Dalziel's equation. So guys, there was a scientist whose name was Charles Dalziel. So Charles Dalziel, after performing so many experiments, gave us an equation which can be mathematically represented by this formula, which is I is equals to K by root T. Now guys, Charles Dalziel's equation relates the magnitude of current I with time duration T, up to which this current I is passing through a person's heart to the threshold of the ventricular fibrillation. So guys, it means that Dalziel's equation, it states that a person can withstand I magnitude of current flowing through his heart up to T duration without going into ventricular fibrillation. So that's what Dalziel's equation tells us. Now guys, here in this equation, this I is current in milliampere. Now this T is time duration in second, and this K is the function of shock energy, which is a constant, and the value of this constant K depends on the mass of the body. That's why I was saying that the electric shock intensity also depends on the mass of the body. Now guys, for 50 kg body weight, the value of this constant K is 116, and for 70 kg body weight, the value of this constant K is 157. Now guys, how electric shock intensity depends on the weight of a person? Let's understand this with examples. So guys, suppose there is a person whose body weight is 50 kg. So therefore, the value of constant K for that person will be 116. Now guys, suppose for T is equals to 3 seconds. For 3 seconds, I current is passing through that person's heart. Now we have to find out what is the value of that current I. So using Dalziel's equation, we found out that the value of that current I is about 67 milliampere. So this tells us that A person whose body weight is 50 kg can withstand 67 milliampere current for 3 seconds through his heart without going into ventricular fibrillation. It means that if 67 milliampere current is passing through that person's heart for 3 seconds, then that person will not go into ventricular fibrillation. But if 67 milliampere current is passing for more than 3 seconds, then he will go into ventricular fibrillation. Also, if for the same time duration more than 67 milliampere current is passing through his heart, then also he will go into ventricular fibrillation. Now guys, let's see another example. So in next example, there is a person whose body weight is 70 kg. Therefore, the value of K for this person will be 157. Again, the time duration is same, 3 seconds. And current amount I is passing through this person's heart for 3 seconds. Now we have to find out how much current is that I. So again, by using Dalziel's equation, we found out that for this person, the amount of current, the value of current I is about 91 milliampere. So we can say that a person whose body weight is 70 kg can withstand 91 milliampere current for 3 seconds through his heart without going into ventricular fibrillation. Now guys, if we compare these two examples, then we can see here that for same time duration, a heavier person, we can state that for same time duration, a heavier person can withstand more current without going into ventricular fibrillation. This is the conclusion of these two examples, and we saw that how electric shock intensity depends on the weight of a person. Now guys, as we know that Dalziel's equation is given by I is equals to K by root T. Here this K is a constant. So I is inversely proportional to root T. By using this relation, this graph is plotted. This graph is between lead through current, which is in milliampere, and this current is passing through a person's heart, and the time duration T. Now guys, this graph tells us that a large amount of current can pass only if the current is of very large amount, then it can pass only for a few seconds, for small time duration, and if the current is of small magnitude, then it can pass for larger duration. Also guys, it also tells us that for each amount of current, there is a specific time duration. It means that suppose this is suppose 50 milliamperes current, so will be a specific time duration for this 50 milliampere current. Suppose this time duration is 3 seconds. So guys, if this 50 milliampere current is passing for 3 seconds through a person's heart, then he will not go into ventricular fibrillation, which also depends on the mass of that person. But if this 50 milliampere current is passing through his heart for more than 3 seconds, then he will come into danger zone. Also, suppose if the time duration is same but the magnitude of the current increases, then also he will go into danger zone. So that's what this graph tells us. Now guys, the next factor on which electric shock intensity depends on is the gender. Yes guys, electric shock intensity also depends on the gender of the person. Whether the person who is being subjected to electric shock is a male or a female, electric shock intensity depends on that also. So guys, Charles Dalziel's studies forms the basis of this table, which is till today used throughout the industries for the safety of employees. Now guys, in this table there are some effects and there are some current levels on which these effects occurs in a male's or a female's body, and all these currents are AC current and the in values are in milliampere, and the RMS values are taken. Also the frequency of the AC current is 60 hertz here. So guys, let's see. So the first effect is no sensation on the hand. It means that if this amount of current is passing through a man's or women's body, then they will feel no sensation. So this effect occurs in a man's body at 0.4 milliampere current, while in a women's body at 0.3 milliampere. It means that a man will not feel any sensation in his body up to 0.4 milliampere current, while a woman will not feel any sensation in her body up to 0.3 milliampere current. The next is slight tingling. It means that if 1.1 milliampere current is passing through a man's body, then he will feel a slight tingling, while the same effect will occur in a woman's body at 0.7 milliampere currents only. The next is shock, not painful, and muscle control not lost. This effect will occur in a man's body at 1.8 milliampere and in a woman's body at 1.2 milliampere. Next is painful shock. Painful, but muscle control is still there. Muscle control is not lost. This will occur in a man's body at 9.0 milliampere while in a woman's body at 6 milliampere. The next effect is painful shock, loss of voluntary muscle control, which is known as let go threshold. So guys, this let go threshold is the current level at which a person loses his or her muscle control. He won't be able to let go of the current carrying conductor. That current level is known as let go threshold. So this effect occurs in a man's body at 16 milliampere current while in a woman's body at 10.5 milliampere current. And finally, painful and severe shock, muscle contract. That muscle will start contracting and breathing will become difficult. So this effect occurs in a man's body at 23 milliampere while in a woman's body at 15 milliampere. Now guys, all these values are the average value. It means that in some person's body all these effects might occur at lower levels, whether that person is a male or a female, while on some other persons all these effects might occur on the higher values of these current levels. So all these values are the average values. Now guys, after observing this table, we can say in general that women are more sensitive to electric shock as compared to men, because all these effects are occurring in a woman's body at lower current level as compared to men. So guys, this was the effect of gender on electric shock intensity. Now guys, the final factor is type of supply or type of current or voltage. Whether the supply is AC or DC, electric shock intensity largely depends on this factor also. So guys, we'll compare these two supplies. So first of all guys, we know that DC is represented graphically like this, DC quantity, and AC quantity is represented by sinusoidal waveform. Now guys, here we can see that DC quantity has a continuous flow, and the magnitude of DC quantity, whether it is voltage or current, is always constant, is always fixed. And also guys, DC current or voltage does not changes its direction. It flows only in one direction. And in case of DC, there is no frequency involved. It means that frequency for DC quantity will be 0. On the other hand, AC current is alternating in nature. AC quantities, whether it is voltage or current, is alternating in nature, which means that AC quantity keeps changing its magnitude with respect to time, and also it also keeps changing its direction. Sometimes it is positive, then negative, then positive. So it keeps changing its magnitude and direction as well. Also guys, whenever we talk about AC quantity, frequency comes into the picture. In India, the frequency of AC current or voltage is 50 Hz, while in US or some other parts of the world it is 60 Hz. So guys, these are the two difference. Now guys, when you get a shock of DC current, then you will be glued to the point of the contact. It means that suppose this is a current carrying, this is a wire in which DC current is flowing. Somehow if I come in contact with this wire which is carrying DC current, so I will be glued to this wire. Okay, while in case of AC current, what happens that if you get shock of AC current, then your whole body will start vibrating due to the frequency of the AC current. It means that suppose this is a wire which is carrying AC current, and somehow I came in contact with this wire, so my whole body will start vibrating in case of AC current. Now the next difference is, in case of DC, a person gets single shock due to the continuous nature or constant flow of DC quantity or DC current. On the other hand, in case of AC, a person gets multiple shocks due to alternating nature of AC current. Now let's see some other differences. So guys, in case of shock involving DC current, only point of contact gets damaged. So if I am coming in contact with this wire which is carrying DC current, so here this is my point of contact, so only this point of contact will be damaged in case of shock involving DC current. On the other hand, in case of AC current, the entire body of the victim gets wounded rather than only point of contact. So in case of AC current, the entire body of the victim gets damaged, gets wounded. So by seeing a body, you can say that whether the person being subjected to shock involving DC current or AC current. Finally guys, DC current will make a single continuous contraction of the muscle, And on the other hand, in case of AC current, a person goes through series of muscular contractions depending on the frequency at which it is supplied. And for the matter of fact guys, series of muscular contraction is very dangerous. So guys, these are the differences between a shock involving DC and a shock involving AC currents, and these are all the factors on which electric shock intensity depends on. So I hope you like the video. If you like this video and you find this video helpful, then please share it with your friends also. And also guys, if you have your own trivia, then write it down in the comment box. So this is all for this video. See you in the next video. Till then, signing off.